diversity of our community, which is a lot of different
Great question, thank you. My observation sitting on the back row of council for the last 8 months has definitely been about poor engagement and the lack of communication between the council staff and councillors in the community. You may not be aware of this, but there are no minutes available on the District Council website. So the agendas get done 4 to 5 days before the meetings, and the day of the meeting the agendas come off, and then there's no holding place for minutes. So first of all, there's a disconnect. The number of plans that are on there that are out of date is not very useful. The community boards are part of the key to improving the communication, and you've probably heard a few people say over the time that the community boards are the consulted is they've already made the decision, they go out to the community board for them to tick it. That's not consultation. The very first thing that I would do would be to have a quarterly meeting with the community board chairs between the chairs, the chief executive and the mayor before all the planning and the decision making, whether it's roading or economic development or any other decision that's going forward. Then the community chairs take it back to the community boards, who will then come back with their council representatives. The other thing is that I would insist that all councillors are community board members, because that's where there's been another disconnect for everybody. And then I would also encourage the youth council to be modelled on the community boards, to the council have a youth representative sitting at the council table.
Very simple. To make change, you've got to have courage. The reasons that elected members don't push things often, in my view, is that they're a bit worried about the reaction I get from the community. See, everyone wants to be popular. You know, you do, you want to be liked, you want to be popular. And some of the decisions we have to make if we want to affect real change in our district are going to be unpopular to some. And it's going to take real courage to do that. Well, that's what I do. That's what I do. I agree. I've got the courage to do this, and I will make it happen. So if you really want to see the change that you want,
I don't want to make excuses for myself, but I didn't get up the hill there because I ran out of pamphlets. I think I would just go back to communications. And communication isn't a one-way street. It's not just it's not just the council communicating to you. You have got to communicate to the council. I would do it in my way. Like I said, I've got an open door policy, but we'll see how long that can be sustained. But the council, although it's in some ways an impenetrable fortress, there is a public session. You can go to the meetings. I just wonder how many people here have actually been to a council meeting and sat in the public gallery. Nobody.
I have.
Well, okay. First there was nobody there. So I think that's something that I would encourage. I would encourage people to come along. I would encourage people to pick up the phone. You know, it's not just having an internet and going there expecting people to find. I mean, 40% of our district doesn't have an internet connection. That's the statistics of the council. Sorry, Russell. There's the statistics of the council. So we have to do a better job of communicating. Without communication, we're not going to get anywhere. And that's where it goes for everybody. I don't care what we do.
Well, Tanya, including my top hat, that's a pretty different look, isn't it? Just look at me and you know you're going to get change. You're going to get a bilingual approach in terms of how I will approach people, but also in acknowledging the simple principles of integrity, really meaningful respect, sitting down with people like this, having a cup of tea, calling in. I think those are sort of getting back to the basics, so that people can sense when there's a feeling of concern, of caring or not. One of the things that I have concern for is when there's a loss in the family. Look, for example, a family lost one of their local Tukuru family this morning. I was there at 7:30 a.m. at the marae. You know, paying my respects, whether it was a candidacy or not, I would be there. You can rely on me. I'm committed. I have no agenda other than to serve you, to bring our community together. That's really what's important to me. My grandparents were Pākehā and mine. So they gave me the insight to be able to move between two worlds and many people. And the diversity is the key, I think, the strength of moving forward is to create unity across our communities.
Kia ora, Pauroto.
Thank you. Anybody else like to? Glenn?
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Kia ora, my name's Vanessa. I have a question for everyone. If you got mayor, you've all mentioned that to be a mayor you have to be a good leader, and to be a good leader you have to also create a succession plan and bring people up and upskill them as well. So if you were mayor, who would you create your deputy mayor? If you got your favourite councillors in?
Your favourite councillors? That is the best question ever.
Jack, put your hands up quickly.
You want to be the
Looking for a
deputy
I'm
mayor?
going to start
Good
first
for you.
because we've kind of had this question in various forms about if you couldn't vote for yourself, who would you vote for? And some of the other candidates actually waffle and divert from it. If I was the mayor and I got the council that I hope we get, my deputy mayor would most likely be Victor, because you need someone that's got all of this data and research analysis, and he has a skill set that would really complement and challenge the council staff.
Good decision.
I've already done my gesture. I think Leslie, she's a go, and she's got a skill set that I would need too. I think we could work well together.
I think it's a really good question, because the mayor is a civic leader, and then the deputy mayor is also second in sort of looking after the leadership of the canoe. I sort of see it like a waka. So like all the paddlers of the waka must also give their consent. I think what's happened in the past, I'm just thinking about it, is on my feet. We've had discussions with different ones, no doubt, amongst ourselves, possibly. But I'm thinking right now, because it's a serious question, we want to make sure that there's continuity, that there's no sort of tipping over of the waka, that there's sort of clear direction. I think we have to have collectively, the deputy must have the confidence, I believe, of the council themselves, the councillors. For they are the leaders of their districts too. I don't take that for granted. Then there's I've noted that the leadership has been all urban. I would say if it's a rural mayor, should there not be an urban mayor? Or if it's an urban mayor, should not there be a rural one? We can't have it too heavy loaded on one side, otherwise the waka will sink. That's where I believe the disconnect has happened. That's where I believe the mistrust has happened. And I think it's important that collectively, I believe now, standing here, we need to decide together. We're one family. Once we're on that waka, we need to make that decision together. Well, there's 10 others that we would need to consult if we got in. And I don't want to, I mean, what I would say is that the 9 or the 10 of us there, it's a good response I'm giving. Because the problem is with leadership, people assume and preempt. There's always a preemption. I don't want to preempt. I have an idea, possibly, but I actually don't know. I could be wrong. But I need to be correct, getting the mandate and the full support of the whole 10. But if they don't
That's a
agree
good
with
point.
it, we're in trouble.
Yep.
I like those sort of questions, so they take a bit of courage. But before I answer, I just have to let you understand the process. So under the Local Government Act, some changes a while ago, the mayor picks the deputy mayor. Back in the day, they used to vote for it in council. It used to cause all sorts of grief. However, having said that, council can overturn that decision as well. So if the mayor picks the deputy mayor that everyone else doesn't think should be a deputy mayor, then there it goes. That happened in Lavin, I think, from memory, Horowhenua District Council. The other thing you need to know is that the deputy mayor is part of a council structure. So you need to think about who is going to chair your committees, and it's also tied up with remuneration of all things. Council get a pool of money to distribute amongst councillors based on their workload, and that's often been distributed based on whether they chair committees or not, things like this. Now, the rules say we have to spend all this money. We can't say to councillors, we'll all take a pay cut and save ratepayers. We're actually not allowed to do that. So, I will answer your question, because I answer every question people put to me, and I do not deflect at all. At the moment, I would probably go with Gerard, who's sitting right here. Now, the reason for that is, I have to work with a councillor who has more or less the same values as me, and because to have a rural mayor and an urban deputy mayor, yeah, sounds great, but you can't have the mayor and deputy mayor disagreeing on everything all the time. It's not going to work. Does that answer it?
Kia ora tātou. I'm Glenn Sutton. I'm actually down at the bayou here at Awakaponga Lake, so I'm very familiar with climate change. Very understanding. That's why we farm water buffalo, possibly alligators. But look, firstly, I'd like to thank and recognise all the candidates here. As you know, as ratepayers, sometimes we're grumpy and great for a lot of people. And we forget that these folks are here to serve us, and they do it out of the concern and well-being for the community. They're not Donald Trumps, they're not Vladimir Putins, well, we hope you're not. You're here because you want to do it for us. So thank you. Thank you for taking that time and effort, which is a big cost on you all, to serve our community. And talking about community, I've got a question for all of you, possibly two. And I'll, just by way of introduction, let me give you some background so you understand where I'm coming from. So last year, and some of you will be familiar with this, last year we started this very exciting project across the Eastern Bay of Plenty, where the Mai and the Huta came down here and said, we need to understand what you councils in the Eastern Bay are doing in terms of your development, so that when as central government we are coming to distribute the Provincial Growth Fund, we understand completely where you're going, how you're joined up, what the projects are, what are the benefits and outcomes to the community, and that means we can then tick the box when you come to us. So that brought the three councils together of Portakere, Kawerau, Whakatane, and the Western Bay of Plenty Council, and Toiri EDA, our Economic Development Agency, and the Regional Council. And we formed the Regional Growth Leadership Group, that I know some of you are familiar with, but some of you won't be. A group of representatives across the councils, and a project team across the staff of the councils, which I'm very privileged to be part of. So we pulled this project together. We found out that across the Eastern Bay we have 68 plus quite significant projects all over the show. From Te Kaha, Omaya with Kiwi Group, Minganui with the nursery, Murupara with possible water bottling, with us at Kawerau with economic development, Whakatane with tourism and waterfront development and more exciting things. And this had the potential to unlock, by 2030, 7,000 new jobs in the Eastern Bay of Plenty. For us, that was transformational. From communities who are down there for years and years, to suddenly having employment, to suddenly having growth. So that we were no longer the poor cousins of Aotearoa. And so we thought, this is awesome, this is something we could all work together on. One of the big things that came out of that project and the work we're doing now was collaboration. That the councils are no longer to work just in their own esoteric little patch, but it's important for all of us, and I'm not doing a mayoral candidate speech here, that we work together because we all need to leverage off each other right across the board. And our rangatahi said to us, we don't want to move away from the Eastern Bay. We love it here. Can you guys find us good jobs and careers so we can stay and work here and be with our friends and our family? And we said, yep, that's what gets us up in the morning. That's why we do this. And I'd really like to recognise Mayor Tony Bond and his team of councillors, because they were a big part of making that happen. And now we have the election, which causes me a little bit of alarm, because we're right on the cusp of achieving a lot of those good things. And the momentum needs to be maintained and pushed forward, and that requires good, strong leadership, the right mayor and the team behind him or her to carry on the vision that we've set up. And my question to all of you is, how do you see this playing forward if you become mayor of Whakatane, with what's in place now to make sure that really happens? The second thing is that one of the key things we've found, the constraints for housing, 7,000 new positions. Where are we going to house everybody? Whakatane is seen, in addition to its own exciting projects, as being pivotal to providing that housing for the Eastern Bay. But I'm not sure how that can happen. So if you have some vision, ideas about that to share with us, that would be awesome, because that's one of the key hurdles we've got to get over. Thank you, that's enough for me,
Perhaps I'll answer that first by simply making an observation. Out of the mayoral candidates here, there's only one that's going to be able to continue what's already been started without having to pause. We've been doing this, you're right, I've been doing this for 15 years. With Tony Bond, we've been doing it for 9 years. And we've got DGF applications for some exciting developments happening right now that we have had to step back from as elected members because we're in election mode and we don't interact with the council staff during election mode in case we somehow seem to have some favouritism. But as soon as the election's over, I'm going to get straight back in it. And that's what I'll do.
Thank you, Glenn. Look, my life in the last few years has been as a tourism consultant, and it's particularly working with New Zealand Māori tourism and start-up businesses, regional tourism strategies with a strong Māori focus, and economic development projects. I've actually personally co-submitted 3 Provincial Growth Fund applications myself, and I'm well aware of the depth of what has come from the region in terms of going to government. I can just give you, the only comment I can give, it will continue. And you do need to have the courage to be able to say yes when it's required and to say no when the timing is not right. And some of the proposals that have gone forward, and we were encouraged to think big picture. But sometimes the big picture still has to be broken down into bite-sized chunks. Some of what we're going out in the Murupara district with our potential multi-day guided walks is going to be quite outstanding and transform Murupara into Whaiti and Ruatahuna with the number of tour guides and suppliers that we can put through there. Promotion of the world's most sustainable or nature highway, that will be a huge promotional draw card that Tourism New Zealand and other regions that can promote to bring us here, because we have to develop more ratepayers. Victor is correct, the long-term look and view of our population is going to decline, so we have to, through visitation, the creation of new ratepayers, which leads to your second point about creation of housing, we have to do so much more to bring people into the community, to learn to love it, to want to reside here, to create more ratepayers, and hopefully romance the property developers to be doing the same thing at the same time. Thanks.
Well, I kind of sort of answered your question, I think, during my speech, but science is about innovation. And it's about collaboration. In fact, I've got collaborations, or have had up until the point I stopped doing what I was doing. They're international. They're not just within your institute or within your country, but they go all out. Why? Because not one person has it all. Not one person has all the equipment, not one person has all the know-how. So collaboration is great. Whatever projects we do, I think, as long as they are environmentally sustainable, let's just say that we can show stewardship for the environment, because if we screw up the environment, we end up shooting ourselves in the foot, and we can't do that. And I think Pākehā and Maori are on the same wavelength in that respect, and we have to work together. So I think innovation, but innovation can be in all sectors. I think we can do things better in farming. We're going to be under pressure. There's going to be a zero carbon bill. We're going to be under pressure in farming. We're going to be under pressure. We're already under pressure in terms of economic development, and I think we can do more in ecotech, ecotourism, and a whole bunch, and eco-farming. So
Yeah.
I think we have to be innovative.
Yep.
Glenn, I think that the important thing to give confidence in your question is that we don't have to recreate something that's already in place. And I think that you can be reassured if I'm elected the mayor, that we will make sure that the things that are working well for our community, I'm asking myself, how can we take that model and transport it right across the district? And I think the other thing too is that the information sharing across our communities needs to be more. You know, for example, the next 10 years, Toi EDA is going to play an important part for the business development sector. In particular, there's 130 million. We need to start channeling a lot of that money into Awakaponga, into Matata, into Te Whaiti, into Mihi, into Ruatahuna, into Ruatokiru, and because you know why? Some of the relationships also with our farming community, with Māori community, with all the other established businesses, there are little businesses that need a bit of help. We need to inject them with a bit of life so that they don't feel neglected by the bigger businesses. It's not about how big you are. Even though it's small, the business is still very precious. And I think the untapped potential is actually right there with our smaller businesses and how the bigger ones can help and support them. Right across the district.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. I won't actually ask for any more questions from the floor, but if you do have something you want to ask of the mayoral candidates when we break for afternoon tea, I'm sure you'll get an opportunity to talk to them then. So thank you very, very much. So we'll quickly move on to our undertaking board candidates. So I'd like to invite Mel Bunny up first, please.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming. I'd just like to acknowledge the people that I'm standing against, you know, and how nice from going from Matata to coming here today and being able to go to the Cosy Club and places like that, and how everybody has band together and really acknowledged each other. We are all here for the community. We are all willing to stand here and be your voice. We're all willing to stand here and row your waka and and come out into the communities and have those conversations. We're all willing that right across the board. It's been about communication. My philosophy is good, honest, clear communication is what is needed here. It hasn't happened for us. I've spoke to a few of our councillors now, and they have been struggling with that, you know, like they've tried radio, they've tried the internet, we need to have better ideas, we need to have more communication, more of us going out into the community groups, conversing, like Leslie said, about our community groups and our councils and stuff like that, having that conversation, being there for the people. I've been around door knocking. I don't have the big signs. I don't have the pamphlets. I'm just a mere barmaid that works at the Whakatane RSA, but I have the passion. I have a big waho, and I'm willing to do the talk, and I'm willing to make these people stand up and do what you guys want. You are the ratepayers. You do pay the rates to us. It is your money. It's you where we're going. I'm not going to do a 5-minute speech because I'm not that person, but thank you all for coming with me, and I'd like to thank all the candidates and all of you fellas for making me feel part of this, and welcome, and thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Gerard.
Good afternoon, everyone. I feel a little bit scared because Russell's put a big bullseye on my back. And I will have to say, though, that I started 9 years ago as a councillor, and I came on board and said, what does a councillor do? And the obvious thing is you read the agendas, you attend all the meetings, and you try and make certain decisions on behalf of the community. And the Mayor also has a big say in what you get to do, and so I'm on the hearings committee, and I was on audit and risk for a while and a few of the other meetings. But I also got pushed out to the Rangitaiki Community Board, where I get to meet Gavin and like-minded people like him. And from the community board, I got thrust out to Matatara, and I got thrust out to Te Teko, and we had Peter Kenya turn up in Edgecombe, and so I got thrust into edit. And I'm still part of Federated Farmers, and all of a sudden I realised I've got a huge workload. And actually I don't mind that, because it's given me an opportunity to talk to a lot of people and to bring a lot of stuff back to council. And I come out here from time to time. I've got a very good friend down Manawahay Road called Margaret Wright, and she reminds me about yellow bristlegrass. She reminds me about the undercuts on the road, and she reminds me about all the washouts that we've had. And then I get other people saying, oh, why aren't we tar sealing Hiraparu Road? And I've had to think about that for a little while, and I'll have to give you the answer. It's because it costs too much, and we've already spent a lot of money there. Hiraparu Road, when I first came onto council, was going to be shut down. They were going to close the bluff and say the road is closed. And it was a very hard decision to council to go and say, sorry, route security, we will keep that road open. And we spent a lot of money to go and stabilise the bluff and make sure that people in Hiraparu Road can go north and come out to the state highway. And then they say, well, so why haven't you tar sealed Hiraparu Road? And I come and meet another guy called Mr. Hole, and he lives at 640 Hiraparu Road. And half a kilometre down from his house, the road had a huge undercut. And council has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to go and stabilise that undercut. And so you suddenly realise that it's not as easy as saying, let's tar seal the road if you want to keep a road open, because there's a lot of other stuff that has to go on. And that happens everywhere. Tony said, I'll go up to Manaway Hall and talk to the hall committee up there, and I've been up there to most of their AGMs in the last 9 years. And there's a really exciting community up there that I love. The hall committee in themselves is a really great set of guys. The Eco Trust that's established themselves in the Manaway School, I've gone up there and I've gone and walked the trap lines with those people, and they've gone and created a predator-free zone. That's awesome. The last time I went up to Manaway Hall, though, they put up a new type of predator roof fence. It's made out of chain link wire. And I was very surprised to see that chain link wire up there. And Russell and Judy and I suddenly realised that we had staff that were making RMA decisions without consulting council and without consulting the community. And to be quite honest, I think Russell and I will agree that staff went a little bit rogue. And there were a lot of decisions and resource consents issued without public notification. And I think one of the things that if Russell and I get back on, or Judy, one or the other, we will be having to go back to the hearings, the staff, and say, look, we have to consult better with the public on things like resource consents. I come out this way, it's quite adventurous. I've been invited a couple of times to go and marshal for the World Rugby Championships that's come through Manawahay Road. And I think for a small community, we're doing a hell of a lot. Margaret invited me up here about 5 weeks ago and said the Hunt Club has encroached on the road and your roadie manager is going to shut us down, or at least move the fence back. And so I went up there to have a look at that, and I got lost down Manawahay Road and ended up at Peter Davis's place right at the end. And Peter said, oh, have a look at the road from my place out to the state highway. And so I drove down to the state highway and we got to overlook the lake there, and I drove back to Peter's place and suddenly realised that Manawahay Road has been kept much better by WDC than the Manawahay Road going down kept by Rotorua Council. I do feel sorry for him because he has to pay rates in both communities. But anyway, I came back here and this thing here was flat out noisy. And my staff have got children there that are doing motocross. So I rocked up there to have a look at it. And shock upon shock, I suddenly find that my brother is a life member here. And I find it very, very funny because I always knew that the kids would be next, motocross, and that Michael had gone and built his own track at home. And I never realised that he helped build this track as well. And so I had a long chat with him, and we have an awesome facility here. I spoke to the people. We've got guys coming as far away as Auckland to participate in the motocross here. So we've got some wonderful assets in this community. I think this is a wonderful place to be in. I am the councillor that has been forced out onto the Rangataiki Plains to go and be the spy, the eyes and the ears for council, and I have brought back a lot of concerns to council, and all I can say is that I will support any mayor that's at the top table, and I hope that we have a very cool group of councillors around us who will work together rather than against each other. Thank you.
Mihi?
Kia ora tātou, Winnie Lewis taku ingoa is W-I-N-I, and that's what you tick. I was raised in Te Tupo along the banks of the Rangataiki River, and now I live in Thornton, still on the Rangataiki, and out there was part or instrumental in stopping the whole works and becoming involved in the flood relief system and that huge, humongous, ugly bridge that they've put there. But I live on that little island with the jetty, and I will have a little moat and a bridge. So that's one up there. And it was working with council, you know, George, I do take off my hat, and he tried his hardest to get council to listen to my concerns, but it was all about the regional council. And they'd already made decisions back in 2008 from the flood. And I did say to them, you know, what my copy was is, why don't you fix up that thing up the top there when down here everything was fine? They just probably had to show the engineers how great they were at building bridges. And then, you know, talking about bridges, I keep saying, take that way, the whakatane. And my involvement has always been around water with the floods, leading the Ngāti Volunteer Army through the flood relief and cleaning that up in 11 days. And they're going to put this thing down the end there and send all the water down to my place down in Thornton, or to our community. Also, again with water, we're part of the hikoi that marched on the council for getting the water across to Paul Road, because we were going to be locked down in a 50-year plan on the arsenic-ridden, I don't know, the levels were quite high apparently, and Te Tipo was going to be locked down. So we marched on the council not to do that to us, and opened up Paul Road, come through to Edgewood and back down to Te Tipo again, to join and close down some other bores and connect to the Tahuna Road bore. That put me in as the community member on Plains Water Committee that is now being made defunct. Don't know why, doesn't matter, but if I get in council, or even if I don't get in council, there'll still be some something to get that going again, because water is going to be top of the pops from now on. Now, hats off to the hundreds of thousands of young people that marched yesterday on climate change. Absolutely into that. With our climate change, we're all going to have to work together on that. It's our rangatahi, our young people, who are looking to us to help them. Not the government, I don't think they can do much, but the government does need our help to make sure, to secure our future and their future as far as climate change is concerned. The other thing is, I stood in the council last time and got fourth, closely behind Russell, but I didn't go away. close, this close, in comparison to others that were standing. And I still sit on the creative community arts, so quite involved in the arts and developing that in the community. Now a lot of those questions, the mayor questions, I wish I got those questions. Just about the PGF, just experience, thank you Glenn for that. And we're one of those little businesses that now train, qualify and employ rangatahi, 40 at the moment that we employ full-time in the forestry, and that's to work on their own whenua. And the reason for that is that we want to build that capability of rangatahi working in the forest to keep the immigrants out and taking their jobs. Instead of going to jail, we want them working out there, because that's where they're going. And then so we can do a big pushback that way. So, but for me, it is engaging with community, because I've always worked with the community. First time I get to sit in the board and look back that way. It's but being used to having that voice if that's needed, and the louder the better, you know, coming from the community. But we still got to listen, and as it's already been said before, there wasn't much engagement, there wasn't much listening, and also inside council very hard to get that voice heard in amongst all the other issues that are going on inside council. Anyway, when you get us, take WINITEDDES.
Wilson James.
Afternoon everyone, I'm Wilson James. I've been farming in the Awakaponga area for close on 40 years, and had a reasonable part to play in the Awakaponga community through the School Board of Trustees and also the Awakaponga Event Centre, which obviously I'm an inaugural chairman of it, and got the thing off the ground and got it up and running to where it is now. Well, other things that I've been involved in, like Winnie, I was on the Plains Water Advisory Board. While I was on it, I learned that council was quite a slow moving wheel, and maybe a little bit too slow for me, but I'd certainly like to sort of move things along maybe a little bit quicker. During the 17 Edgecombe flood, I was part of a small team that worked out of Regional Council in Edgecombe. We were there while the water was still pouring into Edgecombe, and we ended up getting the water out of Edgecombe, getting it off all the farmland, involved organising about, I think we had something like 50 tractors and pumps that we were working with 24 hours a day. We bought gear up from the Manawatu, pumps and that in from outside the area. And I spent 12 days in a row, I think it was, working on that. And community is part of my makeup. I've always been involved in it. I like helping people, I like helping the community, and I guess I'm just here to sort of help everyone. I'm not coming with any agenda. I'm someone who tends to look at problems, think of solutions, and then come up with answers and go from there. I do tend to sort of look for issues that might be coming forward, but sometimes you can think too hard and you start thinking way off beam, so I tend to just deal with the issues at hand. I firmly believe that we are one district as a whole. There's a lot of people in here, a lot of people living in a whole lot of areas around the district, but at the end of the day, we're all one people. We all want the same things, and we're all paying the same rates. It's just that we pay at different levels. So that's about all I really sort of need to say, and I'm the second W on the thing.
Okay, and last but not least, Kevin. For the rangataiki that is. Haven't forgotten. You'd like to speak? Yes, no, good point.
Okay, so my name's Gavin Dennis. My wife and I have lived in Matata since 1986. I've been in the district since 77. Quite involved in the community, and I will apologise before I start in case I waffle off because I came off night shift this morning, but luckily I'm taking early redundancy soon, 1st November, and that's why I decided to stand up and to free up my time and do what is my passion. Why is it my passion? Because since we moved into Matata, we've been heavily involved. So we're on the usual thing, Matata Primary School Board of Trustees for 8 years, Trident High School Board of Trustees for 10 years, 3 years as a deputy and 6 years as a chairperson. I'm currently the chairperson of Matata Residents Association. I've been there for, I'm trying to work it out, probably 20 years maybe. chairperson for the last 6 since Billy Wally passed away. I have been on the Awakaponga Community Board for the last 15 years. You know, some people said to me, now Gavin, that you're going to step down, it's time you act from work, it's time you stepped up in council matters. And so